Let's head to the U.S., where new videos obtained by ABC News are trending today as they shed new light on Donald Trump's alleged attempts to overturn the results of the 2020 election. The videos show Fulton County, Georgia prosecutors confidentially interviewing two of Trump's former attorneys, Sidney Powell and Jenna Ellis. As part of her plea deal, Ellis told prosecutors she was told Donald Trump was not going to leave the White House, despite the fact he'd already lost the election.
He said to me in a kind of excited tone, well, we don't care and we're not going to leave.
That's Jenna Ellis, one of the 18 alleged co-conspirators of Donald Trump in the Georgia election fraud case. Recalling a conversation with senior Trump official Dan Scavino at the 2020 White House Christmas party, where she says he told her Trump, aka the boss, wasn't giving up the presidency even though he lost the election.
He said the boss is not going to leave under any circumstances. We are just going to stay in power. And I said to him, well, it doesn't quite work that way, you realize. And he said, we don't care. Ellis
agreed to cooperate with Georgia prosecutors and take a plea deal with reduced charges, which required her to sit down for these video interviews known as proffer sessions. In October, she pled guilty to a felony count of aiding and abetting false statements and writings. She was once one of Trump's most loyal supporters, appearing on TV and on Capitol Hill, spreading the completely false election fraud narrative that ballots were manipulated.
If I knew then what I know now, I would have declined to represent Donald Trump in these post-election challenges. I look back on this whole experience with deep remorse.
Another former Trump lawyer and alleged co-conspirator, Sidney Powell, also told prosecutors the former president was determined to stay in the White House.
What was President Trump's reaction when, I guess, this cadre of advisors would say you lost?
It was like, well, they would say that and then they'd walk out and he'd go, see, this is what I deal with all the time.
Powell also explained her plan to seize voting machines and have them examined.
That I would have looked at putting into effect a provision of 13848 that would have allowed the machines to be secured in 4 or 5 states.
ABC reports she once again claimed Trump won the election in an unaired part of that confidential interview. But in the portion released by the news outlet, Powell admits she doesn't know much about election law.
Did I know anything about election law? No. But I understand fraud from having been a prosecutor for 10 years.
Powell pled guilty last month to 6 misdemeanor charges, resulting in 12 months of probation and a fine. Trump denies she was his attorney, but in her proffer interview, she describes being in close and repeated contact with Trump, who was often looking for updates on efforts to overturn the election. Trump's lead counsel in the Fulton County case calls the purported private conversation, as described by Ellis, absolutely meaningless.